derived from the leaves of the coca plant. When cocaine enters the body, it has a strong effect on body functions by acting as an irritant on the brain. Large overdose of cocaine causes convulsions, then death. Cocaine causes unusual and often unpredictable feelings and actions. In his ignorance, Marty took that dare, little knowing the eventual horror that lay in the deadly white powder.
Marty, have you seen the painting shears I bought last week? Can't seem to find them anywhere. Marty, you don't seem right. I'm worried about you. There's something wrong. I'm going to take you down to Dr. Richard this afternoon for a checkup.
No, I'm all right.
As his body gradually built up intolerance, he needed more and more of the drug.
Okay, I have not figured out how to fade out the music in a professional way, but I'm going to let it play for a minute. Hello, good evening. This is Bridge Sky, and you're listening to K.I.S.S Recovery 101. And hold on, I almost forgot. Let's take off the banner. Let's turn off the music. It's distracting, and I like that song. Okay, banner coming off because the countdown's over. Okay, welcome. So if this is your first time listening, I like to just tell you what KISS actually really means. It's a fun acronym. Keep it simple, stupid. And that just resonated with me because, well, I like to overcomplicate a lot of things, especially in recovery. And so the stupid part makes me feel, it humbles me. It puts me down a peg. And yes, basics, recovery 101, just stick it to the basics. So tonight will be really interesting. I'm excited. I have a good friend here. Been trying to get him on my show for a minute. He's always busy, but again, I like that. Good busy is a good, it shows you're on a good path. So tonight's topic I thought was perfect because this is a holiday for a lot of folks out there. Again, yes, thank you for coming on. It was hard to fill the spot. So let me just read. If you did catch the post, I'll read what that says. So if you didn't catch that, you have an idea of what you're walking into. So for me, family's not been what a lot of people would define as family. In fact, I was adopted, and I was not adopted into a very healthy, happy family at all. And so I've never understood that concept of family until I went and had kids and made my own family. So holidays have always been just this weird, icky feeling, and I isolate. But now I isolate with other people with me. So it's not a scary, isolating, sad for me thing. Okay. So our topic tonight is dysfunctional family roles. Are you toxic? Or better yet, are there toxic people in your family or your circles that you're not even aware that they're not a positive person in your life? So a family impacted by substance abuse, I say substance use, can develop into a dysfunctional system. In this unhealthy system, members may unknowingly take on roles in order to cope. So we're going to talk about these different, this is new to me, roles. So there's the savior or hero, the mascot, the lost child, the scapegoat, the enabler or rescuer or caregiver. Do any of these sound familiar? Change the dynamic to step up in a healthy, supportive role for family members in recovery without pushing your loved ones away. So guest, do you want to introduce yourself? And then maybe we'll talk about how we know each other, but mostly I want to talk about what you're doing. I've seen you on the news. I've seen you on a podcast. I've heard you on other podcasts, and you definitely have a presence. And I'm so grateful to call you my friend. So say hello.
How's it going, guys? My name is Gavin. I'm a recovering addict. My sober date is 10/6/2020. Yeah, so me and Bridge go way back. about a few years, about a year or two.
Couple of years, yeah.
Yeah, about a couple of years. I have no idea or remember how we met.
Recovery Coach Academy.
Recovery, yeah. So me and her actually. So my job that I do now, I'm a peer support advocate.
Get right up on my
Um,
mind.
and we did classes together, and I met her through those classes. So my job now that I have, I met her through the classes that I did to get my job now. Yeah, that's kind of how we met. What else you got for me?
Well, okay. So now we are both certified peer recovery specialists, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We are.
So what are you doing now? I know you were at Teen Challenge for a minute. What are you doing now?
Yeah, so I'm working at Anthony Lewis Center, Ambele. So I'm working with teen boys in substance abuse, which is a very, very humbling job. Going from working at Minnesota Adult and Teen Challenge to working with in a high schools and middle schools to now working in just in a treatment setting.
Okay.
So it's definitely different. It's a different structured like environment. So it's definitely very, very interesting. It's hard, mentally and emotionally hard, and draining sometimes. Because you get it with a lot of kids who don't want to be sober.
Yeah.
They're getting forced to be sober by the courts. They're getting forced to getting sober by their parents. All that sort of stuff. So it's working with teens and substance abuse is really, really touchy and interaction with them. So I love it though. I love it.
You're definitely the person to do it.
Yeah, that's where I'm at now. I'm only 20 years old. And I mean, it's definitely interesting to see where I'm going with it. I mean, starting up my own podcast here soon. Like we were talking about earlier.
That's gonna be fire.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be super fun. Starting up my own podcasts for teens. When it comes to mental health and to other related subjects, mental health, substance abuse. Trying to just find a better way to live. As a teen. Like Teen 101 or something like that. But
youth.
Yeah, youth 101. What it's like to live as a teenager. And how to say no to drugs and alcohol. And if you're struggling with substance abuse, as a teen, that there's more ways to live, more things in life to live for other than drugs and alcohol.
Right.
So,
okay. Well, and that just makes me think of when I was younger. What sucked was, I had to follow all the laws and the rules, let alone parental and teachers and all this stuff. However, it was frustrating because they took me for an idiot. However, my home life, I learned a lot of like common sense, wisdom things that if you grew up in the suburbs bubble, happy life, I mean, just it was very frustrating not to be taken seriously because of my age. And nowadays, just because I'm actually a positive person these last 3 years here, just because I'm positive, people think that I'm not deep or sometimes I come off as annoying and too happy and whatever, but I want to be that way because I've never been this way in my life and fuck what everybody else thinks.
exactly.
But I can't imagine being a youth. I mean, I can, but I just remember being just feeling a youth and feeling so restricted and not very few people encouraged me or took me like serious and validated, that I guess when I speak to anybody, whatever age they are, they're another human being and to take them as they present themselves. And you present yourself as a very mature person. So let's talk about, oh God. Okay, so yes, it's a live show for a reason, Gavin. So we have lots of interactions. So let's take a look. So J.R. Weaver, hola, Bridge Bay Sky, Merry Xmas. Yes, J.R. Weaver's wrote a book recently. He's pretty dope. He's been doing Costa Rica, but he's been all over. I just seen him in Florida. Let's see. Christina Call, Kaul says, "What is this? Is this a recovery talk show? It is. Yes, it's going to be a recovery conversation, right? And feel free to give shout outs, Gavin, if you would like. Let's see. She says, oh, they must be talking with each other. Hello from Louisiana, Donna. Hi, Christina. Yes. Oh, Thanks. Donna answered that for us. No problem. Merry Christmas. I've been a little of each of those throughout my lifetime. Oh, JR's in South Carolina. Oh, Recovery Revolution there in Texas. I just put out this really great little TikTok with, I forget his name, something with the T, and he was what if people were states? Gavin out to share it. Minnesota in this winter storm. So one guy represented the winter storm coming in, and Texas is in like this winter coat, scared, and Minnesota's like, yo, it's all right. This is the thing. And then there was Florida and California. It was pretty funny. Anyway, but Texas, they had some jokes on Texas. Okay, and so Donna says yes, and we like you this way. Okay, Gavin, let's get into it.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
How was things growing up? Did you have a bubble suburb happy family situation?
So a little bit with my life, I grew up with a family with parents who were addicts and alcoholics. My biological father was a meth and cocaine addict. My mom was in that realm. You know, I mean, she wasn't an addict growing up, but she had a problem with drinking for a period of time. Um, so I can't say that she was a bad alcoholic or a bad addict, but she definitely did get herself involved in some things like that. Um, yeah, I mean, when my biological father left, my stepdad came in my life. My stepdad though was an alcoholic and an addict. So I grew up with two parents who were addicts and alcoholics my whole life, and that was definitely something that was a very hard thing for me. I grew up in the suburbs. I grew up in I can't say I grew up in a bad home because I didn't. I grew up with good, amazing parents. But I grew up with parents who were not mentally or emotionally present for the first probably 10, 11 years of my life. Up until I was about 13 or 14. And, so I mean, it was hard. It was hard growing up with parents who weren't really present emotionally or mentally, because I was able to do whatever I wanted, however the fuck I cared to. Sorry for my language.
Oh, this is an adult rated show.
This is okay, sweet. So it didn't matter. What my parents were doing. I did what I wanted, how I wanted, because I didn't respect my parents because they were doing the same thing. And that's all I knew growing up was drug. Oh, this is what drugs and alcohol were. And I was the type of kid in school that were like, oh, this kid knows what drugs are. This kid already knows what drugs were and are at 11, 12 years old. I knew what a cigarette. I knew how to smoke a cigarette in 6th grade.
Yeah.
I knew how to drink in 6th grade. I knew where to get it in 6th grade. My little sister is a 7th grader. She don't even know where to get that shit.
Yeah.
She don't know what that stuff even is because she hasn't really seen it that much.
Yeah.
Now that I'm sober, I got over 2 years. My stepdad has come up on 5 years sober.
Wow.
My mom has, a little over 2 years.
Okay.
For codependency. And so my little siblings, they don't have to see any of that. They don't have to be around any of that, which is a blessing. So I can say it's definitely gotten better. It's definitely is different than what it was like growing up. My siblings right now definitely have a better home life than what me and my older brother had.
Sure.
And I'm blessed that they have that life.
Yeah.
I don't resent them at all for it.
And they have you. What's nice is now that you've found recovery and they found recovery is like, but you still have that lived experience. So if they come up on some stuff, bullshitters could see bullshit, So like if they ever even do come up on that stuff, they know that it's not going to get by you guys. Yeah. But I feel like for me, a person in recovery, like my go-to is not going to be judgment and hypocrisy. I can get, okay, see, now here's where my ADHD comes in. So backtracking. So when you mentioned it's kind of hard to work, in that environment with the youth. I mean, I think you are the great person to do that. But at the younger age, your brain's still developing, still trying to figure out where things are going. Then you add substance use into that. Like, I cannot imagine. I mean, the last thing, youth person, I think it's great that you're 20 years old, right? But coming from me, who's older, I don't feel like a lot of youth would right off the gate want to hear anything I have to say. But here, okay, you remember this, Gavin? And then we're gonna play our clip, and we're gonna keep interacting. So we did in our training. Do you remember how we had to do what was it, role playing? Okay, you probably don't remember this, but you and I did. It was really hard, and it was like a key point. I learned a lot just in that 1 week training, but we had to learn to. I'm a fixer, Gavin. If somebody tells me they have a problem, I want to fix it. I want to help them. I want to do all the things for them. Now, where it sits today, I couldn't really quite understand it even in the training, but you know, my go-to is always, well, I know all of this list of things of people, resources, I want to help you. But at the end of the day, what I've now really for sure ingrained and learned within myself is people do not want your help. Like, I know that even myself, I didn't need you to fix me. Like, what most, I'll just speak for myself, but mostly what I needed was just someone to listen, like a safe space to listen. If that's really hard. So we were doing ours. I think you were homeless. One of us, you were homeless.
No.
And do you remember the scenario? I remember it was really hard, Gavin, because you're like, I'm homeless. I'm hungry. I maybe want to do this recovery thing. And that during that role playing was we had to just listen and not tell you what to do to get help, but we had to like somehow encourage you. Do you remember that interaction at all? And do you find that that's still today, especially working with whoever you're working with, that, helping them come to their own realization and also helping them to want recovery and want to get, resources and get help on their own? Like, how do you work that? What do you do?
So I think that brings up a good point. Especially when it comes to teens.
Mm-hmm.
As I work with teens in substance abuse, I have found more young people, like you were just saying. What teen wants to listen to you, right? And that's what you were just saying. I just became a 20-year-old young man, young adult. Being a 20-year-old working in the recovery field, working with teens at a treatment center who should be respected. I still don't have teen. You would think that as a 20-year-old working in a treatment center would be really respected. I am in a way, but not a lot of them want to listen because at that age, you don't care to think of what other people think about or care to what other people say to you. Because why would you want to? I only care about drugs and alcohol. I don't care what you have to say to me. I'm not going to get sober because you told me, oh, yeah, fentanyl is going to kill me. No, it's not. I haven't died yet.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to die to it. I'm only using 5 to 6 perks a day or fentanyl a day. I still haven't died yet. So who are you to tell me that I'm going to end up dead to fentanyl? I was that kid.
Yeah.
I didn't want to listen to what you had to say or what you told me or what you would tell me or to do this or told me to do that or blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I'm still the same way. I'm 20 years old with over 2 years of sobriety. I still don't know how to listen to even my parents. My stepdad is one of my biggest, well, he's my father. My dad is my biggest role model. I look up to him the most in my life, and he tells me all the time what I need to do for my life, or what I should do for my life, and gives me advice. And I still don't want to listen to that.
What's your first thought? Like, you can't tell me.
I'm like, yeah, I should do that. I should, but do I want to?
Yeah.
Do I really want to? Do I really want to make the decision to quit my job and go to a different job? No. Should I really make the decision to not talk to this girl or to sleep with this girl or to date this girl? Some advice that my dad has given me in the past has changed my life, but it also in a negative or a positive way changed my life. Because I either listen or I don't listen. I take it in, but I don't process it to the point where it's like, oh, yeah, you're right. I should have listened. You know, so
Gavin, I think you're a lot like me. Okay, I've learned to make
Bluetooth connected.
recovery language, just language in general. It's so much better to make it positive. So I'm not rebellious anymore. I'm resilient, Gavin. So especially when someone says something, I used to just immediately want to go and do the opposite times 10. Now if someone says something and just for whatever reason I don't like them or I don't like how they put it or they just say something maybe I even actually agree with, but for whatever reason I just didn't like how it was presented, my mind goes, that first thought is you're wrong and I'm going to prove myself right. However, I've learned really healthy coping skills that one of my therapists, so I took DBT for a long time, and she taught me one of the main questions I ask myself is, Bridge, is it better to be right or is it better to be effective? So that really worked well with my ex, because that was just red buttons all the time. No matter what came out of his mouth, it was immediate. I want to shut that down. But as I think many people know, when you're heated and the other person's heated and if they're talking, nobody's listening. So it's pointless it's actually even worse to continue to make your point when he's not even listening or she's not even listening. So I've learned to take that time to process, pause, and if it's worth coming back and making a point, then yes. But it's okay to agree to disagree. But let's get out of the topic. You ready?
Yeah.
So I'm going to play this clip and then we're going to talk about these roles and see if anybody in our lives, because I haven't read thoroughly all the way. Oh, there's our first alarm. You like it? It's funky. It makes me want to go roller skating. Okay. So that's to just remind us to interact, which we've been doing. Oh, good. And we are on point. So let's get into this clip. So this clip is going to be relevant because I think for me, Gavin, I spent so much time people pleasing, which I didn't like that term at first because that made no sense. It wasn't like I'm trying to please people. In my mind now, I realized it was more, I was seeking that validation. I wanted to make sure everybody thought it was nice. I wanted to make sure everybody, knew that my intentions were good. And at the end of the day, were any of those people there for me when I fell over and over? No. So why was I wasting my energy? So anyways, this clip. So if you go on YouTube, I'll share the link and it's Jordan Peterson. It's on I'm on right now, motivational YouTube stuffs. But I've been learning a lot. And this one specifically talks about cut toxic people and friends out of your life. And this is going to be 2 minutes. So here we go. Hopefully I got it lined up.
It's brutal. And so this chapter about, only making friends with people who want the best for you, that's a brutal chapter. But it's right, unfortunately. Here's how you know if someone's your friend. You can tell them bad news and they'll listen. They won't tell you why, you're stupid and why that bad thing happened to you and how something worse happened to them once and, derail the whole conversation. You can actually tell them bad news and they'll listen. So that's a good thing. And then this is a weirder thing. You can tell them good news and they'll help you celebrate. And that's a really good way of deciding who you should have around you, because if you have someone around you, something good happens to you, and you're kind of afraid to even admit it because, God, something good happened to you. You let that be known and it'll certainly be taken away. So, you come out and you sort of tell someone half-heartedly that something good happened to you and they give you a whack and then talk about, the great thing that happened to them 3 years ago, or worse, the great thing that happened to someone that they knew 3 years ago. It's like, go away from that person. They're not helpful to you.
You are obligated not to associate with people who are trying to damage the structure of being. Your being, the family being, social being, all of that. It's like, no, wrong, move away. And you think, well, that's cruel. It's like, it's not cruel. You're sending a message. This sort of behavior is not to be tolerated. Plus, if you make a success out of yourself, let's say that you develop your character, well, then you're a example. And at some point, maybe that's what that person's going to need is an example. Maybe they'll hit bottom and think, oh my God, I'm not on the right path. It's like, there's an example I can follow. So, and you can't justify it by compassion. And the other thing, people don't exactly understand that it's okay morally to choose people that are trying to help you be better and to
Okay, I'm going to cut it off right there. So, two things that really stuck out to me, Gavin, because I don't know if you've been paying attention, you've been on your little phone there. I don't know if you heard. No worries. You're a very popular person, busy. I think what was key, and I still, like at my last position, okay, it was sad, Gavin. We're all working there. We're all in recovery. Every single person there. I thought we were going to be a team. I'm just naive, happy person these days. And I thought we'd build each other up and support each other. And I fucking learned really quickly who to align with and who was hating me. Like it got to a point where I'd be so excited to take this new training. I'd get this certification. I'd learn this new resource. And I could see on faces of people that did not want to hear from me. I later found out talking shit behind my back. And I'm like, why? We're here for a really important purpose. But what he said that really stuck out to me is be around people who fucking celebrate you, right? Who elevate you. And, that's hard for me because I always thought, family, friends, like these are the people that are supposed to love and support you. But I call a lot of those people I had to cut loose because they're dark cloud people, Gavin. They never had anything positive to say. They're always gave me all the reasons why my idea wasn't going to work or, oh, you did that. Well, guess what? I did this, or I know someone who's done that better. Like I had a specific close sibling. I won't name names, but it didn't matter what idea I had or what thing I was on. I've always been just I'm always busy too. She always had to say, oh, well, I know someone who does this, or, oh yeah, I already heard about that. And she'd always kill my dream, my vibe. But really understanding me and what my values are and what's important to me and my purpose in life. If you're not on that level with me, if you're not on that same like mindset, like I'm not gonna spend my personal time with you. Like I have my recovery and definitely, my job. It's not even a job for me, but I love supporting my own people and trying to get them on their path. And that's someone that I will spend that time with to work with. But on my personal life, if you're not adding to my life, if I'm around you and you're just negative Nancy all the time, like, of course, there's times when we all need to support each other for, whatever we're going through. But if you're always like, if you're not true to my face and you're talking shit behind my back and you're just hating on everything I do, like, why would I want to waste any time or energy or my spirit with you, right? It takes a lot sometimes to fill my own cup, and there's a lot of thirsty ass people around there, Gavin. So anything in that clip, I did like to say, like, you have good news and they're going to celebrate you. And if you have bad news, which is, again, bringing it back to that one-on-one role thing that we did, bad news, they just listen. They don't need to one-up you. They don't need to relate to you. They could just listen and not judge you and just love you. So, Gavin, I know you're an open book, but just as you feel comfortable, is there a specific family or friends, especially when you really decide, like, I'm on this recovery thing, that at least temporarily or maybe permanent, I have a couple permanent people that I don't need to go back to them at all, but that you had to take time from or cut off, or you just don't spend as much time with anymore, and why?
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot. Oh, that's a good question. Oh, that's a good one. It's got me thinking.
I mean, is there one person, like, maybe you've allowed back in your life?
Yeah. My dad.
Okay.
My stepdad, for sure. We have a rocky relationship, but like I said earlier, like he's one of my best friends. One of the hardest relationships I have because me and him are we butt heads like no tomorrow. But at the end of the day, we relate so much to each other. Like he's my best friend. He is always there for me, and he's never given up on me in my life, So, no, I mean, like, there's a lot of people I've had to cut out of my life who were really bad for me. But now that, I've been sober, you have to surround yourself around people who have the best of your interests. Like the way that I explain this to people is, people are people who come into your life are either a blessing or they're a lesson.
Yes, I love that.
You know, and every person that comes into my life, I give it some time. If they stay, they're a blessing. If they leave, that means that they were a lesson in my life, that they were only supposed to be in my life for a certain amount of time, and that they were taken out for a certain amount of they were taken out for a reason. And that's just the way I see it, you know. When I got clean, you know, I was so worried about having to get rid of all these people out of my life. I'm like, I don't want to cut off all my friends.
Right.
I don't want to have to cut off family members. I don't want to have to do this. Why do I have to do this at blah 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 18 years old? And it hurt. It hurt a lot because I did not want to. I felt like I was gonna feel alone. I felt like I was gonna be alone forever. I thought I was gonna be friendless, and that was the reality of it. I felt friendless, but over some time, I felt the momentum of wanted by something, and that was my sobriety. Um. So yeah, I mean, to answer your question, what was say your question again?
So, is there anyone specifically right now that you let go of, you had to take space from for your own recovery, but you've been able to maybe let back in? Or is there someone specific that, you thought you couldn't make that boundary, but they be gone? I asked you this question because I have a couple people in my own mind. Oh, there's alarm number 2. You see what that says there?
Hot seats.
Hot seats? So why don't you just think of one example, and then you got 3 hot, heavy questions coming up.
So, one person that I would say has been the hardest to get out of my life. Gosh, that's a good. I can't even give you one because I always use by myself. No,
Yeah.
2 kids that I grew up with, who got me introduced to hard drugs, to meth and cocaine. I had to let them out of my life, and that was the hardest thing because I love them like brothers.
Yeah.
But when they're ready to get sober, I'm ready to let them in my life.
Yeah.
Or when they're ready to getting clean, I will bring them to treatment. So,
see, that's the reality, Gavin. One person that I love, like I've loved unconditionally, I've had to take that like a 3-year space, and I really see that the only way I'll be able to have her back in my life is if she'd even like seriously take recovery as a path, because I can't have that. It's such a like overwhelming love-hate relationship that I have with myself, more so her. So it breaks my heart, but I know it's for the best. Okay, you ready for the hot seat?
hot seat it is.
Okay, these are heavy questions, but thanks, Gavin. And we'll do these questions, and then I do want to go over the roles really quickly so other people can consider like where those might play in. Did you like the sound effect? It took me a good 6 months to find fire sound, Gavin. Okay, I heard other people tell me previously that it sounded like popcorn.
You gotta make like a song.
Here we go. Fire. We're gonna light it up. Okay, Gavin. Here we go. We're going to run right through these. Okay, listeners, and also you're welcome to, I would love to hear any of your viewpoints with anything we've talked about. If there's anything you've experienced, any questions, comments for our guest. Here we go. Gavin, hot seat question number 1. Oh, this is a good one. Usually I try to start off with more easier, simpler ones, but because you're the youth and you're that youth viewpoint, I'm really mindful of this question. Okay, so and I know you, so I'm not giving you much grace here, Gavin. You ready? And you do this anyway. So, who, Gavin? Question number 1: who has broken your heart the most? Now, however you interpret that, that's on you.
We're talking like relationship wise, or like.
However you interpret that.
I think myself. Myself has broken my heart the most. I remember being a little child or a young kid, promising myself that I would never do drugs and alcohol.
Mm.
Promising myself I would never go to jail. Promising myself I would never do this or do that or lose a relationship with this person or hurt this person or try this or do this. And I let myself down so much by the path that I took.
Mm-hmm.
And I have broken my heart the most.
Okay.
Even when it comes to relationships with women, friends, I get scared, I leave them.
Mm-hmm.
I run from them and I break my heart even more.
Yeah.
So yeah, that or my biological dad,
Okay.
due to his addiction. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
that was a good question. That was a really,
Yeah.
really, really, really good question.
Yeah. Well, you were totally scapegoating that going with yourself. So I'm glad you put something else out there. Okay. I'll take it. Good answer. Question number 2, Gavin. What's the biggest insecurity you have right now in your recovery, would you say? And why?
Not going to meetings,
Not enough support group
not enough
stuff.
support groups, or feeling alone, feeling like I have no friends.
Mm.
I don't hang out with anyone who's sober. I just don't hang out with anyone in general. You know, my biggest insecurity is like feeling just too alone in my sobriety right now. But maybe it's a blessing right now, and I'm being awakened for something greater. I don't know.
Mm.
You know, so I just take it for I don't take it for granted right now because maybe it's what this alone time and my sobriety is what I need.
Mm-hmm.
So I see it as an insecurity, but I also see it as a positive.
Right.
So
I would agree. And I'm also just hermity, especially this time of year. But I definitely take moments where I just don't want to socialize at all. However, would you say you have like a good phone list of people you could call at any
for
moment?
sure.
Okay, I was like, Gavin, you have a lot of friends, so
I have like over 300 people on my phone call list that I can just call.
okay, so
Just
it's a
like
choice.
just like that.
Yes.
You know, so I don't have anything to worry about like feeling alone. It's just I choose to be alone right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think it's a good thing right now.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, I'm not going to disagree. Like I said, that's kind of my go-to. But that's why I like this podcast. It keeps me accountable to myself to get the fuck out of the house. Otherwise, I've been home. It's been so cold, Gavin. I'm wearing 2 pairs of pants and 3 shirts right now. I hate being cold, but I like getting out and interacting and connecting. So, okay. I don't know. I didn't expect that answer from you, Gavin, because you're such a social. Everybody likes you. Everybody I know that ever talks about you always has great things to say. Okay, question number 3, Gavin. Oh, here we go. This will be interesting. I'm sorry, I did pick these questions specific because of your age. So I want to know. I have a son that's 17. So, okay, I'm just assuming this, when you become a parent one day, what are the things you will not say to your son? Are there key things that come in your head like, these are things I will never or not say to my son?
You're gonna end up just like your mother or your father.
Mm.
Cause that's one thing that I was told growing up. Oh, you're gonna end up just like your mother or your father, or you're gonna end up just like your dad.
Mm. Ooh, ouch.
Yeah. So that hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Growing up, being said that by your mom or your stepdad, by getting in trouble when it comes to the law or like getting caught with things. I think that's my biggest thing. Not that like I'm gonna leave my kids or anything like that, but like if my future wife or baby mama ever left me, you know, like for drug, like she was an addict or like stuff like that, like she became an addict or stuff like that and like left, I could never say that to my kids. Another thing is like you're not good enough. I can never say that to my kids. There's just so much stuff I could never say to my kids because I know what it was like growing up without parents who never validated how I felt. I grew up with parents as a young kid who never really made me feel like I was validated as a child. They're good about it now, but like as a child, my parents said a lot of things that had hurt me.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
You'll be a great
That was
dad.
I'm gonna be a great dad.
Yeah, you
I'm
are.
very excited.
Wonderful answer, Gavin. It's so weird to sit here on both sides, and yes, there's definitely key things that I would have never said to my kids that were to me. However, being that parent, lost in addiction for over 17 years of my life, it still sucks to know that I was numb. I was emotionally not present for my children. And even though they knew I loved them, and even though they knew they were my world and I would do anything for them, and I always made sure they ate, and I always, they always had to worry about me. Oh, is mom getting really depressed again? Oh, she's making, like, I feel like we had conversations back then, but they knew like I wasn't me because I didn't even know who I was. And so our training, Gavin, I mean, there was such key things in there, just the ors, open-ended question, just the right? I started using that on my kids immediately when I got home was instead of yes or no questions, just what did you do in school today? Oh, what didn't you like about that? Oh, what did you like? Instead of saying, I would always say, oh, how was your day? They'd say good. I'm like, most of the time it was a yes or no. I can't even think because I don't even talk like that anymore. Like, did you have a good day? Yeah. They go upstairs, like now, like I get to have those more interactions. So anyway, going on a tangent. Okay. So here we go. Anybody? Okay. Nope. They're still, comments got shut off. So I don't know, Gavin, if you're able to look at your phone, see if anybody else is commenting. They're turned off again. I lost that connection. The troll last week messed up my stuff. So talking about this. So if you go to addictioncenter.com, okay, this is the roles that family members, trying to help people are in addiction recovery can accidentally fall into. So the savior or the hero, Gavin, is the shining star of the addicted family system. They look good, they achieve well, and they never let the family down. They compensate for the shame the family feels around the addict by being the family superstar. They may cover the individual with an SUD, attempting to make the individual look pleasing to everyone. They may be in denial, overlooking major problems that require professional intervention. They are also compensating for feeling empty and helpless themselves due to dysfunctional family dynamics. So was there anybody, would you say, in your family dynamic or currently in your family that's the savior or the hero, the shining star, the one who's, tries to make the family look like a good system, or growing up, or was there anybody, or were you that person?
It's a good question. I think my mom was the biggest person, like, that had to make the family look like, oh, we're a good family.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but we were very, very dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm.
Very dysfunctional.
Sure.
I think now though I'm the one that makes the family try and look like we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the things that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I'm not perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but I try and do more for my family.
Yeah.
Or I just stay away from my family.
Just take a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think my mom's like the fixer upper for the family.
Mm-hmm.
And then above my mom is my grandma.
Yeah.
My grandma is the one that is like the cornerstone of our family.
Okay.
She's like the higher power of our family.
Sure.
She's like the stone that keeps our bridge together.
Yeah.
Without her, our family would fall apart.
Mm.
That's the way that I see it.
Yeah.
So my grandma is like the one that like keeps our family together.
Mm.
So yeah.
Okay. And I bet your mom came to the house for the fires and stuff. I like her a lot, by the way. She's good shit. But as a mom too, yes, that was me for my own, covering up my own shit. I made sure the kids always ate and their homework was done, and when I could get my ass out of the house, I would do all the things for them. But really, it was like this said, it was me compensating for feeling empty and helpless myself, which was really twisted. Now looking back. Okay, this one's interesting. The Mascot provides comic relief for the hyper stressed family. Sometimes humor is tactlessly aimed at the individual suffering from the SUD. The mascot uses humor to minimize the pain in situations and to deflect hurt. This often becomes a maladaptive coping skill. Would you say there's anybody who does that?
My brother.
Okay.
My older brother is like the one that kind of deflects everything. Deflects that, oh, my family has a problem.
Yeah.
He just doesn't ever talk about it. He never talks about it. He just pretends like, yeah, whatever, like nothing is wrong with this. Like it's just kind of like whatever, like who cares?
Yeah.
He's very closed minded with it, or not closed minded. No. Sorry, I take that back. Card, if you're listening to this, I did not mean that.
Yeah.
But he's more. I'm trying to find the right word. He's open-minded when it comes to substance abuse, but he's also very supportive, but he's also like he has a humor with it.
And direct.
Yeah, and direct with it. He's like
Blunt.
He's very blunt with it, It's like I can care less about what you're going through, but if you need support, I'm here for you.
Okay.
So yeah, my brother's definitely the mascot of the family.
Interesting. I would definitely say I did not have that dynamic in my weird home situation, and definitely don't have that. But I do know I won't say, but another family unit, my ex's girlfriend's family, okay, that is their go-to, okay? They talk about everything, and that's like their therapies. They tell everybody and everything, all the business, and then they like poke fun, but oh my gosh, we're already at the end. Okay, we got 15 minutes. Here's what's weird though. So they would say like humor is their medicine, and humor, they would poke at people, and especially at each other. Oh, it's in good fun, and that's how we make light of it. And Gavin, I make fun of myself a lot, right? I have to laugh at myself a lot of times. And sometimes I can tell when I'm doing it more just to break the ice or lighten the load, but I don't think I ever use it as like directly not addressing things. And I would see, go ahead.
Then I guess I'm the mascot too then, because I'm the same way.
Okay.
I don't say things to hurt other people, but I make fun of my own addiction, and I deflect my own addiction, and I pretend like it's not that big of a deal, because I don't think it's really a big deal sometimes. I just think I'm a normal person.
Yeah.
So.
But I think that I will also cry, and I will also be angry.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, it's not jokes all the time. But yeah, if somebody's jokes, what was interesting to witness with their family is very sad, because I think a lot of them, they're making fun and they're deflecting from their own pain, but all they're doing is putting more pain on each other. It's very unhealthy, very depressed, and it was hurting. They were hurting all of their own hearts. I witnessed this, and there was a point. This is kind of personal. Ooh, I don't know if I want to share this. Is maybe make me emotional. And one of them actually said to my son, "Man, that's so messed up. Well, you better watch what you do. Your mom might go try to kill herself again." And I remember seeing his face. And it was the first time ever I saw him so broken. And I just remember that moment in the car. Like, first off, why the fuck would anybody ever say that to you? And second off, like, that's called brutal honesty and brutal truth, right? And if you are a person that cannot decipher what is appropriate and what is not appropriate, what is cruel and what is actual, like, honest, like, meaning well truth, big problem, big red flag. And so I did have a conversation with his mom and that family, but she right on the way went on that defense of, well, that's just how we are. And I'm like, okay, I get making jokes, because like I can make some jokes too, but you don't fucking say something like that.
Yeah.
Where my son, that broke his heart, and that broke my heart. But I mean, it was, like you said, a good lesson that presented itself, that was me seeing his pain right there. And it woke me the fuck up. Okay, anyway, sorry. Okay, the lost child hides out both physically and emotionally. They can be counted on to never rock the boat. They avoid conflict and suppress their emotions. They do not drain the limited emotional resources of the family, but suffer deeply internally. I worry this is my oldest son. He's very quiet, and he's very responsible. Yeah. Do you feel like, yeah, talk about your sister.
Yeah, my sister's she's the quiet one in the family. She just pretends like
Keep talking.
she just pretends like nothing's there. She's very shy. She's very okay. She doesn't really know what's going on. I mean, she does.
But it does.
She does. She's very observant
Yep.
with the family, but she's very closed with the family. But she's also very in touch with her emotions. She's very sensitive.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting. Well, and that's what's weird is I think I definitely was the lost child, but where I sit today, I finally like grown away out of that. But I definitely would say, you know, yeah, that was me. I didn't. I made sure not to rock the boat. I made that's what sucked is once I grew up, that was my whole guard with everybody. I didn't want anybody to. I didn't want conflict. I didn't want anybody to be upset with me. And yeah, it was a wall. Okay, the scapegoat. The scapegoat is the person in the family who is blamed. The scapegoat creates other problems and concerns in order to deflect attention away from the real issue. They are very successful at distracting the family and others from the individual with the substance use disorder. Would you say there's anybody in your family that was trying to deflect, any like negative attention away from you and maybe making their own? I don't know if anybody qualified for that in my dynamic.
I don't think I really have one.
The scape. I was initially thinking it was like the black sheep, but it's not that.
Yeah, I don't really have that in my family.
Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe if it was like siblings that are really close, maybe one would draw. Okay, let's get to the last one because we're running out of time, Gavin. We got to get to my favorite segment, live Facebook beefs. Okay, the enabler / rescuer / caregiver. The enabler isolates the addicted individual by excusing their behaviors. The enabler is unwilling or unable to hold the addicted individual accountable for their actions. They smooth things over and run interference to keep the addict from experiencing the logical consequences of their poor choices. This behavior often stems from their desire to avoid shame and embarrassment. They will often stunt the addict's ability to recover if they don't change their patterns. Any enabler, rescuer, or caregiver roles?
My mom and grandma, for sure.
Yeah.
My mom's very, very dynamically good at doing that, being the enabler.
Caregiver.
Yeah, the rescuer. She's like Captain Save-A-Ho. If I'm drowning, she's coming to save me. If my brother's drowning, she's coming to save him. If we're all drowning, she's coming to save us. My grandma, if I'm struggling with financially or mentally or emotionally, she's coming to save me. So yeah, my mom and my grandma are the ones that are like, we're gonna save you, we're gonna take care of the family. Or even me. I'm the caregiver too as well.
Yeah.
I took care of my family for a while. When I was sober in the past. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I align with a couple of these myself. I think for me, that used to definitely be my go-to. I think just being a caretaker, and when I've gone through so much shit, and survived a lot, like if I see anybody struggling, I don't want them to struggle because I know how that feels, right? But I learned lots of challenges and lessons that I accidentally became the enabler because I was allowing them to treat me that way. And what was to stop them to keep pushing that line? And it got so toxic and it got so bad. I was trying to protect my kids. I was trying to protect everybody from knowing what was really going on. And in the end, it just got so bad that, court stuff had to be initiated. But what I've learned from that is I love Thrive Family Counseling Services. So they are a support connection resource for family members. I'm a dual member, so I'm a person in recovery. I've also have key people that I love that I've tried to support, and they are not in recovery, and that's been a struggle. And they've taught me what's called like how to love well, love being an action, not an emotion, and how to set those healthy boundaries. Like they do workshops, Gavin, and just the recovery language that they use. And, they speak about people with, us substance use disorders. Instead of like, I went to Al-Anon and they would say, you're a qualifier. Ick! Like that made me already want to just throw up. Like, oh, you call, your person that you love or you're trying to, whatever, a qualifier. Oh, that just rubbed me the wrong way. Those bees rubbed me the wrong. I only went to like 4, I'll be honest. But Thrive actually calls your person, whoever, it could be your sister, it could be your kid, it could be your parent, whoever you're trying to support in recovery, that whatever. They call your, it's just your person, which I love that. That's my person, whoever that is. So I think it's key. One thing that I definitely would say that really stands out to me is if any of those stood out to you for any reason, having those conversations with those people, if you recognize that within them, but mostly within yourself, if you recognize that these are those things, and to work on those things, because awareness is key, right? Yeah. And then and learning, like that's where I'm at. My addiction now is nerdy as fuck, but it's just knowledge. Like I love learning other viewpoints and other insights. Okay, let's get to the things. Okay, same here. Good job. So Gavin, I got some sound effects. You ready? This is my favorite part of the show, and we can zip through these. Again, it's about an hour. We'll be done. We got 6 minutes, but we can go over. Plus, a couple of them are really funny. My hair's getting too long. Okay, so it's too cold to cut my hair. All right, Gavin. So this last segment, and listeners, please feel free. I won't be able to interact as I flash these. The listeners will be able to see. You're going to look right here, Gavin, and describe the beads you see. We won't be able to interact till after, but I'm going to take that off here. These have been memes throughout the week that I screenshotted and liked for whatever reason. It could be it was a aha, or it was really funny, or just related to where I'm at today. And like Facebook, you're gonna give me your reactions right here live. Okay. So okay, ready? Sound effects. Here we go. Oh shit, I forgot. So I don't pay for this, so I get the commercials. But my daughter actually made a point to find these for me to make it official. So let's see. But it likes to play ads every time I do it. Okay, go into see. Okay, 4 seconds. So live Facebook memes, going to wrap up the show. I'm going to post the links of everything that I talked about already just as resources so you can further look it up. But those roles things, I got to process that shit for longer because I don't even know. Too much information. If I could do a podcast, Gavin, you could do a podcast. Look at how low key this is. It's no big deal. Okay, here we go. Okay, meme number 1, Gavin, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Describe. Go ahead.
Weather in the USA today, balls. Fucking Minnesota.
Okay, so what is somebody who does not have video on their phone? What are they looking at?
They're looking at balls.
Okay, it's like a weather app.
Yeah, it's like a weather app. This says balls. It's cold as balls.
Yeah. Weather in the USA today.
AKA Minnesota.
Uh-huh. Oh my God. And it, like, when you pull up your app, you'll see the sun, or you might see the sun with some clouds. It's cloudy. This just looks like, yeah, you can't deny it. It definitely looks like there's some cold as balls. This is fantastic. Actually, my friend, her and her son made this, so I had to put it out there. It's truth. Okay, meme number 2, Gavin. Who do we got there? Who is that?
Kermit the Frog.
Kermit?
Holding the thought in your mind, trying to not interrupt the conversation whilst hoping the topic doesn't change. I really don't understand this one, I'll be honest.
Okay, this is just personal. So a lot of times in conversations, especially on this podcast, you'll be sharing something. I'll have 3 thoughts. Ooh, I gotta chime on that. Ooh, I liked what he said. But by the time you get to done speaking, I can't remember any fucking thing I wanted to bring up. So that is my brain, like squirrel. So holding the thought in your mind, like I know there was already a particular time I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I remember this. We gotta talk about this. But by the time you're done talking, trying not to interrupt the conversation while hoping the topic doesn't change. And the topic changed, and I have no idea what I wanted to ask you before.
So it's Kermit the Frog looking at you like, huh?
I'm trying to remember.
I'm trying to remember with his eyes big and loud.
Yes. And I love Kermit. Any memes with Kermit. Oh, this is just words.
If you're feeling alone this Christmas, please remember that you're always alone. It just happens to be Christmas right now. That's fucked up.
Right?
I think I think shout out to Leon K.I.S.S. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure he posted this one.
I've seen it a couple times, yes. Oh, and you just said you're kind of feeling a little alone right now. It's dark humor,
you
Gavin.
know, that's really fucking crazy because this Christmas I felt alone too. Now that I think about it, I feel like holidays lately have been so different for a lot of people. Ever since COVID started, I've been feeling more alone on holidays. So this one hits different.
Yeah.
It hits different. But it's really fucking amazing.
It is, yeah.
It's really fucking hilarious.
I'm really glad that you're here. Gavin, here's the thing, is I'm not alone. Now I have 2 roommates. I have many children, animals, and literally I felt like a piece of shit all day. Like last night I stayed up till 3 in the fucking morning. I did not get all the shit done. Okay, I got 2 hours of sleep. Whatever, did the whole thing this morning, and I just didn't feel, I don't know, satisfied. And it just felt like, luckily my roommates helped me out because other kids came home and it was just like a nightmare, but like it wasn't festive or merry at all. So I'm glad that we got to vent about that. Okay. Meme number 4. Ooh, this one's interesting. Maybe read this through a couple times. This is just words. What does it say?
What's the difference between meditation and disassociating? They sound so similar. Consent.
Are you familiar with meditation?
Yeah.
Do you know what disassociation is?
Meditation is finding serenity. Like living in serenity. Disassociating is just like isolating yourself from reality. They sound similar. They look similar. But dissociating is more negative.
Oh, yeah.
Serenity is where you find calm.
Yes, you want that.
You want calm.
You want that.
I try and disassociate when I'm driving, but that doesn't work.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is actually dark humor on my end because Gavin, so I have PTSD. And I never really realized how bad it is sometimes, but the consent thing is key is because yes, I love meditating, but my brain, for whatever reason, still gets triggered out of my control, and I will disassociate the fuck out of a conversation, out of something that might have just happened 2 days ago, Gavin. My brain shuts off, and I hate it. Literally, we're sitting here today, having a side conversation with one of my friends, Jason. I hope he's not listening. He doesn't know this. He told me something. He was telling me something that my brain did not like. He was making, I just wanted feedback on one of the podcasts we had done. And he mentioned somebody that I felt my brain was like, this person has no place to make any judgments or calls. And I could see his mouth moving, but he was right next to me. I couldn't make out what he said. So I just said, hey, wait a second. What did you just say? Can you say that again? And literally I was staring at him, but my brain zoned out. So I had to bring that up to my therapist. That's when she realized I have CPTSD because my brain will just shut off. And it thinks it's protecting me because of whatever my anxiety or whatever was going on. Maybe I was getting a little heated or threatened, but it sucks. I hated it. Anyway, okay. But consent, yes. Because my brain, I was trying to tell my brain, I asked him, and I didn't want to ask him a third time. I was too embarrassed. I think I caught half of it, and I still don't remember. Okay. We're halfway through. Meme number 4. This one's really good. What do you see there? Some glasses on a beach. What does it say? Get right out of that bike.
Gosh, this is a good one. This one says, some things break our hearts, but fix our vision. This is what I'm going through now. I just recently not recently, but about 6-7 months ago, I was in a relationship, broke up with a significant other. One of the hardest breakups I ever went through. This relationship fucked me up. I just recently got diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and bipolar 2. And a lot of it had to do with my relationship with my ex. On the reason why I got diagnosed with it. Because of the way that the abuse was, or the way that she abused me and blah, 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 blah. But it's leading me into a more greater perspective. Because the way that I see it is, if I didn't go through that breakup, I would never be going through the healing I'm going through right now. Right. That I needed.
Yeah.
I would never be going through the phase of my life and the journey of my life right now of feeling alone, but the aloneness of feeling uncomfortably comfortable with life again, or comfortable with being uncomfortable with being uncomfortable with being comfortable.
Or comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both of them.
I like it.
And before, I can never be by myself. I always had to be with another person. I mean, I still do sometimes, but like I'm learning to be uncomfortable with being alone. And I hate being alone, but I'm starting to love it. And so, yeah, I think I love this. Some things break our hearts, but fix our vision.
Yes.
The heartbreak that I went through and the breaks of my heart is fixing my serenity in my mind and my heart, but bringing me to a bigger, better place in life.
Yeah.
So,
See? You're so wise, Mr. 20 years old there. And guess where I got this meme from? Thrive. They're fantastic. 100% I agree. Okay, next one. Oh, this one's a good one. Okay, so the left picture's like a skeleton. I can't see what there. Oh, there's a bottle at the table, skeleton at the table. And then the one next to that, I don't even think this matters, but it's like an old sculpture. Anyway, what does it say? So alcohol is said to have come from the Arabic term el. I'm probably saying this wrong. El call and el gall, which means body eating spirit. Perhaps this is why alcoholic drinks are called spirits and booze. Drinking alcohol is one of the fastest things you could do to lower your vibration, and it's been used as a tool to keep human consciousness at a lower state for thousands of years.
it's interesting. I never knew that.
Would you say like that's okay? You know how we had to do our elevator
Yeah.
speech, right? So that totally changed mine a lot, and it's real simple. And one of the things I say is, I'm a bridge, a person in long-term recovery, and what that means to me is I make a choice every day to not use substances, to stay clear-minded on everything I'm thinking, everything I'm feeling, and everything I'm doing, because that's true. Substance use took me away. But now that I just got 3 years actually on Tuesday.
Congrats.
I've never had so much confidence. I've never just been so free and open, sometimes too open with my truths. But can you imagine? Like, I'm not even telling you my age, double your age, Gavin. But if I would have known this at your age, I cannot imagine what you are going to attain in your life at your own pace, of course. But you already getting this wisdom and knowledge at your age, Gavin. You're going to be doing things. Don't forget who your real friends are.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, but it's true. Like, I feel like substance use, yes, definitely, there was moments, at that time it gave temporary relief, but that's bullshit. I'd rather learn those lessons, do those challenges, be awkward and anxious or whatever, but at least I know it's me and I'm authentic. And it makes me sad when I see people, I don't take it personally, but start using whatever they're using. I'm like, oh, now I'm going to lose that little piece of, they're not going to be their full present self, Oh, it's frustrating. Okay. Anyway, I think this is very accurate. I believe in energies and vibrations and the universe, Gavin. Okay, here we go. Oh, this is funny. This is a guy, this white sunglasses, looking a little perturbed or confused, right? What does it say?
When your therapist ignores your decoy issue and starts to shed light on the real issue. Huh. That's what my therapist does.
I was going to say, have you did therapy?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Where you try and put focus on like a fake issue.
Yep.
But then they start reflecting on the real issue.
Yeah, especially when they get to know you.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To cut right to the chase.
Straight up.
Oh, that was what I was going to say. Squirrel moment. Borderline personality disorder, correct? That's why I originally started DBT. That's what I was diagnosed with. Guess what, Kevin? And I thought I had it. So it was a year program. I went through 8 months because I was a little hard-headed in the beginning. But I still, like, at the end of graduation, I'm like, so about this, like, diagnosis. So I'm looking at, I got ADHD now and PTSD. And I was like, wait a second. I'm not borderline personality disorder, BPD. She's like, oh no, Bridge, I took you off that a long time ago. Turns out a lot of us, especially coming out of treatment or whatever, that's a go-to like diagnosis. It's bullshit, Gavin. And, not to minute yours. Yours probably could be accurate, whatever. But it took a year and a half, and those skills that I learned at DBT, and I was able to really get into my inner self. I'm not fucking borderline, whatever. My ex still goes around telling people I'm bipolar, which is not accurate at all. Yeah. Or borderline personality disorder. Turns out I was just misdiagnosed. I actually have PTSD and ADHD. And my severe depression and anxiety is gone too. I don't even need meds for that stuff. It's taken 3 years though, Gavin. Yeah, right. But awareness. But the key was finding that therapist that I could really be honest with. Yeah. But she could call me on my shit right away. Yeah. Oh, that sounds stressful, Bridge. Now let's talk about your ex. Fuck your job. Okay, here we go. 2 more. Oh, it's a cat. What is the cat? Looks like they're trapped in something.
No, it's a booby trap. It's a cat wrapped with a bra.
Trapped in a bra.
It is a booby trap.
It's a booby trap.
It's a booby trap.
Okay, and this actually goes perfect. I didn't make this order on purpose, but there was a lot of like reach outs this week. Oh, happy holiday. I don't celebrate Christmas, Gavin, actually. Oh, okay. I like celebrate Yule. We're not going to get into that. But I still appreciate everybody's holidays. And so I was getting a lot of people jumping the gun, trying to wish Merry Christmas. It's like 2 days ago. I'm like, what the fuck? Anyway, so I just sent this gift. I just sent this meme over. No, it's a booby trap. It was great because I confused. And they're like, what? The fuck? Yeah. And most of them didn't even respond. So I left it there. It was great. Sorry. It was a yoke, which is a joke that's only funny to me. I use this one a lot. Okay.
I get it.
Sorry. I had to make myself laugh because I was just getting annoyed. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, shit. There is a few more. Oh, we're going to just go through them. Here we go.
Not sure if I'm awkward because of the situation or the situation is awkward because of me.
Do you have moments like that?
Oh, yeah. All the time.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm awkward because of the situation or
if the situation's awkward because of me. I think it's both sometimes.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
Right? But are you okay with it?
Oh yeah,
I thrive on it now.
I thrive on making situations awkward or making awkward situations.
Yeah, and just saying
it is the best. Awkward. This is the best thing. It's the best thing ever because it's just who I am as a person.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's probably 9 times out of 10 starts with me, but at least it's out there. Okay. Ooh, this is a good one.
Just found out my entire personality is a trauma response.
Boom.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't say my life is, but I tend to throw my personality out there as a trauma dumping.
Ah, there you go.
I love spreading. I have a very big, what is the word? Dark sense of humor.
You do?
Oh yeah, for sure. When it comes to my trauma. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I make that my whole entire personality when that happens.
Yeah. I guess we haven't hung out that much.
Yeah. I like that one. That was really funny.
But see, this was me 3 years ago. So I'm really glad that you never met me then because turns out people from my past don't even recognize me. I don't look that much different, but my whole like aura and energy is so different. They're like, you look familiar. I'm like, yes, Jason Rundine. I know you from like 8 years ago. He just knows who I am now. But I knew him, but I was but that was my walls, man. I had so many walls up. I didn't trust nobody. Yeah. Okay, now it's really 2 more. Okay, you're doing great. So there's like, I think it's soccer, maybe the sport. There's a guy being another dude's, looks like a team, his shoulders. And at the top it says,
picking up a 30-day chip after months of being a relapsing mess. My higher power, my sponsor. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Isn't that great? This is true. And I think only when I finally started to keep the medallions, because I would get them like they're poker chips, But when I started to really keep it and hold on to it and it meant something to me, was yes, this is a big deal. And that's why every time I present a medallion or somebody passes it around, like I put my juju in it, my energy in it. It's kind of funny that when people drop their shit, you hear ding. meeting. I'm like, uh-oh.
Like, oh shit.
So
See,
that's
I haven't been to a meeting in a while, so
You gotta come.
I need to go to one soon.
You live right here.
I know. I live like a minute away.
Come Tuesdays.
I will.
Okay, last one.
Hope and fear cannot occupy the same space. Invite one to stay.
My
Hope and feel.
Angelo.
I hate fear. Fuck everything and run.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the way
Or
I see it.
face everything and rise, Gavin.
I
Got to
like
change
that.
the
I
pot
like
to the
that too. I
positive.
like that too. Hope.
Right?
Have,
Jason actually posted this one.
Have one, persevere everything.
Mm-hmm. But you can't have both.
Nope. Have one, persevere everything.
Yeah.
That's the way I see hope. Have one, persevere everything.
Oh, I haven't heard that. Okay, I thought you were just
I just
doing
made that up.
You
just
said
now.
this is like that's wisdom under before.
Have one, persevere everything.
I love that.
That's actually, dude. I need to write that down.
Yes, it's recorded. It's recorded. I won't copyright it. That's all you. That is wonderful. Yes, and that is true. And so I notice, because I'm aware now a lot of times of my cycles and my patterns, even just in thinking, thinking about what I'm thinking. And if I'm letting fear take over, I got to stop and pause, practice awareness until spirituality emerges, but check in with my peoples. And sometimes peoples are busy. And, I am one of those people that I don't check in every day. So maybe 2 weeks or 2 months since I talked to some people, I'll get my ass to a meeting or, get into like a virtual meeting or something, but just get out of my head when I know fear is I'm losing that sense of faith within myself. So, okay, Gavin, any final thoughts? Oh, let's go to the comments. Let's see. Oh, the troll's back. Hold on. Blocking them. Ooh, the C69 XXX. There they're gone. Yikes. Okay, well, at least somebody got in here. Oh, Jesse. Jesse Bangson said, good job. No, he's just so reassuring. Thanks, Jesse.
I love Jesse. Hi, Jesse.
You know Jesse?
I do know Jesse.
Good shit. We worked at MRC together for a minute. Okay. But any shout outs? I wanted to say shout out to JP, Hope Dealers. That's why we met. Yep. Right? That's why we got this opportunity. And anything you want to say?
That's all I got. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for this opportunity, Bridge.
Yes. And thank you for giving a voice to the youth. And I think maybe the youth might be intimidated. My son's intimidated by you because, yes, you might be younger, but you are very wise. But you definitely have that youthful spirit energy, which is very, I think that's why a lot of people want to be around you. But that's why they suck you dry. They're called energy vampires, Gavin. So, okay. Well, everybody, I hope you had a happy holiday. Christmas, that's your jam. I'm happy for you. I cannot wait to take down decorations and all that. I'm done with it. I'm over it. But yes, next week is New Year's. And so I do not have a guest lined up. Nobody's committed. So I actually might just do my favorite guest clips and just review those key conversations. That might be fun. But then I got to do some editing. It's been a while. So we'll see if I can pull that off. I think I actually have to work. I don't do work until the very last minute. Okay, everybody, have a great night. And I'll check you on the flip side. Look, I got great ending music here too, Gavin. So I'll show you all this stuff if you decide to go with StreamYard, which is the bomb. You get to play cool music to end the show. All right. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.